in terms of flat Earth, if you're going to debunk science that's gone back sort of 3,000 years, you need to have solid answers for the debunk. For instance, you need to explain how the phases of the moon happen, because that works perfectly well with the moon being a sphere, the Earth being a sphere, and the sun being a large distance away, an extremely bright source of light a large distance away. If you go into a dark room with a single light source and get a white ball on a stick or something like that and move it around your head, and from your perspective the head is the Earth, you can absolutely mimic on that white ball the moon phases that you see as the moon orbits the Earth over a month. Furthermore, things like the horizon, why ships sort of disappear bottom first, and you look into the horizon, you can only see half the buildings in the distance and things like that. You'll say, oh, it's perspective, but that's nonsense. It isn't perspective. There's no perspective in the world that makes something disappear halfway up. The sunset, you say the sun, the sun doesn't actually go. If the sun went into the distance, it would get smaller as it went into the distance. It doesn't. You can actually measure the sun throughout the day, from when it rises to when it sets, and it doesn't actually change its size when it's setting, when it's rising, whatever. It sometimes looks a bit bigger, atmospheric conditions and so on. But the other issue, of course, is the stars. I'm sort of not a keen astronomer, but I've got telescopes. I've used them in the past. If you get a telescope and actually, or a P900, and actually focus it though properly, rather than looking at the planets with the camera out of focus and saying, "Oh, that looks like it's all sparkling lights and shit like that I've seen people do," you can actually see with a powerful telescope or camera the rings of Saturn, the moons of Jupiter. You can see the crescent Mars, Venus. You can look out and see stars. You can see the Andromeda Galaxy. I mean, you've got to explain all that. How if space doesn't exist, what are you looking at in a focused telescope and camera? And it's not, this is people in the back garden can do this, or go into a dark place, a field or something like that, with a telescope or a camera, and they can look up themselves, and there's no one protecting them, there's no one watching over them, there's no sort of big conspiracy around you, government agencies feeding you information. It's just you with a camera or a telescope in a field, looking up at the sky or looking up at the moon. You can look at the moon and see the craters and stuff like that and see how far away it is. It's nonsense, absolute nonsense. Lots of people disagree. I don't really care really, because I don't really know what people debate it either. I mean, you got these conspiracy cats and various sort of channels where they go on these massive long debates with flat earthers. It's a complete waste of time, because all they'll say is anything you show them is fake. Any pictures of the Earth from space is CGI or fake. Anything you show them that they don't agree with is fake, and they'll just quote some nonsense off of YouTube. It's absolutely pointless. They'll believe anything they want to believe. A bit like Donald Trump. Fake news. Anything that's good about him, Mr. Trump, he'll say is true. Anything negative, he'll say is fake news. This is very much the same thing. He probably believes in the flat Earth himself, that moron. Let me know what you think anyway, and please subscribe or press like or don't, whatever you want to do. Thank you. Happy New Year and everything to everybody.